All right, about 14 minutes to go to the opening bell. Nice gain for the Dow, is up 200, but a modest gain for the S&P and for the Nasdaq. That, to some degree, reverses yesterday's very big sell-off. Now, Fox News has obtained documents showing that back in 2022, the Biden Justice Department subpoenaed Jim Jordan's phone records dating all the way back to 2020. Congressman Jim Jordan joins me now. That's outrageous. Do you know why they tapped your phone, Jim?
Well, it's interesting. It's part of this Arctic Frost investigation, but they went all the way back to January of 2020. I mean, that was a year before January 6th. That was a year before the election, for goodness sake. But for 2.5 years, Stuart, we knew they spied on President Trump. We had learned here in the last several weeks that it was, senators and some other members. But this was for 2.5 years. Every call you make, who you call, who calls you, how long the call lasts, where you're at when you make the call. For 2.5 years. I mean, that on the top Republican on the Judiciary Committee, a separate and equal branch of government, and in the subpoena it said, well, we're going to tell the carrier, you can't tell the customer, in this case me, you can't tell the customer because he might be a flight risk. He might tamper with. Are they? It was so ridiculous, and this whole thing has been ridiculous. And frankly, it's why we're going to bring Jack Smith in for a deposition.
Yeah. What can you do about it? I mean, that is outrageous that for 2.5 years they tapped your phone. You're the chair of the House Judiciary Committee. That is outrageous. Who's going to pay the price for this?
Well, understand they didn't tap, but they got all the records. They got all your text messages, not the contents, but every time you text someone, someone texts you, every time you call someone, every time they call you, how long the call is, where you're at when you do the call, what time of day you make the call, how frequently they got all that information. So, look, we've already referred Thomas Wyndham, one of Jack Smith's top deputies on his investigation, for obstructing Congress when we deposed him, and he was the guy behind taking the phone, actually taking the physical phone of another member of Congress, my colleague Scott Perry, Army general, 14 years in the Congress. They took his phone, and the week before they took his phone, they spied on him for a week because we got that document. And it says, we want to know where he works, as if they didn't know here at the United States Congress, where he lives. We want to know his daily patterns. We want photos of his vehicle and his house. They did all that to a member of Congress and then actually physically took his phone. That's what these guys were up to. And I want to know if Garland signed off on this. I want to know if Chris Wray signed off on this, Lisa Monaco. How did this happen where all these things take place with, again, a separate and equal branch of government simply going after Republicans, including the Speaker of the House, frankly?
Yeah, that's just simply outrageous. But I am going to move on to another subject, and I'm sure you've got strong feelings on this one, too. In just under an hour, the House is set to vote on a bill that condemns socialism. The vote comes right around the time when Mandami visits Trump at the White House. Jim, I think this vote really puts the Democrats on the spot.
Sure
Do
does.
they or don't they condemn socialism?
Yeah, we'll see. My guess is several of them will vote not to condemn this. But you're going to see every Republican, of course, vote for this. We know it doesn't work. I was relating this to a colleague the other day. About 37 years ago, I guess, 38 years ago, I was competing in what was then still the Soviet Union. And I remember you go to places that you go to a store in the Soviet Union, there was nothing on the shelves. You walk in, you're like, compared to, I was like, that's what happens when you don't have free markets, you don't have freedom, you don't have the rule of law, you don't have private property. That's what happens in those kind of systems. And this is what Mom Donnie wants to bring to our largest and greatest city, New York. Makes no sense, but we'll see how they vote here in about an hour.
I've probably been making myself rather unpopular here, but I want the president to confront Mandami and not give him any money, so he doesn't have taxpayer money to ruin this great city. Where do you stand on that?
Well, the president's never been afraid to confront people in the Oval Office. We've seen example after example that President Trump's a guy who knows what he believes and is going to go do what he told the people he was going to do. That's why we've had this amazing 9-month run, 10-month run under his leadership. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does. We'll see how that meeting goes as well.
I hope it's out in the public. I'd just love to see that. Jim Jordan, always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us, Jim. We'll see you again soon.
Stuart.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thanks.